everybody, and welcome to Follow Up Friday, where today's theme and the first question from one of our viewers is about how to deal with cravings. So, especially for things like chocolate and coffee, when we know they're causing us harm. So one viewer shared that they need to quit both of those because of GERD. And it brought up a powerful topic. Why do we crave things that hurt us? So cravings are the brain's response to dopamine triggers and not hunger. Did you know that? So our modern processed foods like chocolate, coffee, and sugar are designed to overstimulate us. So our primitive brain sees those dopamine hits as good for survival, even when they're harmful. So one of the books that I recommend if you're trying to get through cravings is this one here. It's called The Pleasure Trap. And that's by Dr. Doug Lisle and Dr. Alan Goldhammer. And I will link to it below the show notes. It's very helpful if you're trying to work through cravings. Some of the key points you can get from that book are that the pleasure trap is real, and our modern foods and habits sort of hijack the brain like drugs would. You know you're being manipulated by food engineering? Yes, the companies are hiring special food engineers to make sure that the food that you eat is full of the things that will addict you, like sugar and salt and oil and all of those things that make foods rich. So these things will override your natural signals, such as if your natural signal to show when you're full, when you've had enough, that gets overridden by all the things that they're adding to the foods. And our brain is wired to go towards pleasure, away from pain, and to conserve energy. But these things are backfiring in our modern life. And it teaches that the only way through is through abstinence and simplification. It's the fastest way out is to stop exposure entirely. So how to break free of this, the cravings? I know for me, I believe what Chef AJ, who you can find on YouTube, believes is if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. That's what she teaches. So I can't have certain things around me or I will overeat on them, such as chocolate. I'm still going through the cravings and trying to deal with it. But it's one day at a time. You do what you can to get it out of your sight and try to replace it with things that are healthier for you. So you have to go through the withdrawal and the initial discomfort. It's a detox, not a true need. And what you have to do is you have to eat whole, simple foods, because natural foods will reset the taste buds. And for me, it takes a couple of weeks to eating natural whole foods before I can then say, I don't need the chocolate and I don't need the sugary foods. So you have to delay and distract. So with time and redirection, the cravings will subside. And you have to track your patterns, identify what your triggers are, and interrupt the loop. Like for many people, the end of a meal signals, okay, it's time for dessert. Or maybe it's time to sit down for your favorite TV show at night. That will trigger a craving maybe for crunchy, salty foods. And you have to interrupt the loop. You have to use some other tactic to distract you from that, whether it's to go out and take a walk with your dog or with yourself, or maybe find a new natural food to eat at that time instead of chocolate or chips or ice cream. Cravings don't mean you're weak. It just means you're human. And learning how your brain works helps you work with it, not against it. And it does help to have support around you telling your significant other, please don't keep it in the house, and if you have to keep it in the house, keep it out of my sight or lock it up. Sometimes you have to go that far to change what happens when you're trying to get off of these addictive foods. I wish you good luck with that, and I'm going to move on to the next question. And I forgot to say that that last question was from Snoopy622. It was actually a comment, and it led to discussion about cravings. So the second question is from Anonymous, I think 003 now. And they say, I know movement is good for me, but how do I stay motivated when I don't see quick results? Well, that's a great question, because let's face it, in today's world, we're all looking for quick results. We want to see changes immediately on the scale, in our clothes, or even in the mirror. But the body doesn't always show results right away when we're looking. Well, what does change quickly but quietly is your brain. So movement improves blood flow to the brain. It helps regulate your mood, reduces anxiety, sharpens your focus. And that starts in days, not weeks. And also your body might be healing from the inside out. Things like reduced inflammation, improved circulation, better digestion, or lower blood pressure doesn't show up in a mirror, but they do matter. So instead of asking, what did I lose this week, try asking, what did I gain? Do I have more energy? Do I feel prouder of myself? Am I getting a better night's sleep? That's motivation that lasts. And don't forget when I taught you about charting things that you might not be able to see right away, but through time. It's very important to see those kinds of results, and that's proof that what you're doing is working. Okay, on to question 3. Okay, so question 3 comes from Feline Fever, who reached out privately and asks, is it okay if I stretch instead of doing full workouts? Can stretching alone improve my health? Well, yes, it can, absolutely can. Stretching is movement, and it's one of the most underrated forms of physical care. You know, stretching improves blood flow, it eases joint stiffness, it boosts mobility, and it can help with your balance and posture, especially as we age or sit for long periods of time. It also can help calm the nerves and reduce stress. If you're just starting out and you're dealing with pain, low energy, or disability, stretching might be the perfect form of movement for your body right now. And if you haven't listened to the last video, which we did on yoga, you might want to tune into that one for some ideas on stretching. You don't have to push, sweat, or burn to have a benefit. Stretching is a way of saying, I care enough to reach for something better. And over time, that adds up. So what happens when you stretch is, first of all, your muscle fibers, they temporarily elongate, and that gives you a sense of release. And stretching also can stimulate the nervous system, which actually calms your body. Blood flow increases, and that brings oxygen and nutrients to the area. Stretching also relieves joint pressure and improves your range of motion. So built-in stretch sensors adapt over time to allow safe, increased flexibility. Flexibility is so important as we age. You ever notice how often your cat stretches if you have a cat? It's a lot. They stretch instinctively after resting to reactivate their muscles and improve their blood flow. It helps them maintain flexibility and joint readiness, and it resets their nervous system after sleep. So when cats stretch, it's not exercise, it's maintenance. It's their way of steady, ready, loose, and balanced. We can learn a lot from that. So next time you see a cat stretch, do it with them. Okay. make it a little game. Say, thanks for the reminder, kitty. And that's it for today's questions and answers. I know it was a short one, but actually I'm going to a wedding this weekend, so I'm kind of trying to answer the questions in a quick way. But I think on YouTube, the quicker the better. I think a lot of people like a quick video anyway. So thanks a lot for sending in your questions and sparking discussion. And we will see you next time on Success Sunday. If you'd like to send in a question, be sure to put questions below on the comments or send them to the Self-Help FAQ Facebook page, or you can write to me at barb@selfhelpfaq.com. Thanks again, and enjoy the rest of your day and your weekend. Take care.